Hi everyone, it's Tom here, and on today's video we're going to talk about some of the best market screeners that are out there. In my opinion, the ones that if you need a market screener and you don't want to have to pay for a premium service, these are the ones that I would strongly recommend using. Now, before we get into that, some of you may think, what's a market screener? It's probably worth explaining because I know many of you will be using market screeners, but if anybody that hasn't before, it's basically a tool that allows you to check for a number of variables, a number of filters on either stock markets or currency markets, commodity markets, check through indexes, etc., all different market sectors, and just filter them by whatever you want to see. So, you may want to look at, if you're looking at technical analysis, any stocks or any currencies that are way below their 100-day moving average, for example, you can filter like that. And it saves you the time of having to look through every single chart and check those physically. So yeah, they're a tool that I think every trader or most traders should be able to use just to save yourself some time. But there are a lot out there, and there are a lot of premium tools that you pay, I don't know, £30-40 a month. Are they worth it? Sometimes yes. I mean, all the ones we'll go through here, I've used a little bit in the past, some quite extensively. They're all free. They don't require any login or sign up. There are premium versions that allow you more searches per day and to save your searches, etc. But the base levels of these are all free. So yeah, we'll get started. We'll look through the top 4 market screeners that I would recommend using, guys. So let's jump in. Just very quickly before we dive in, if you're still struggling with your trading or you'd like to know more about how mechanical edges are traded, I've put together a free video course for you that will map out and explain everything in detail, along with walking you through exactly how the mechanical rules actually work. If you'd like to watch that after this video, I'll pop a link in the description. You can click through and you can watch that straight away. So the first market screener I want to cover today is basically the screener that we have on MarketWatch. Now, MarketWatch is a really popular website for traders and investors. I'm sure most of you will have come across this or at least seen it advertised in places or referenced. They've got a couple of screeners within their tools section. So if you go to marketwatch.com/tools, there is a lot here. I'm not going to cover some of these items because they don't relate to market screeners, but you can see they've got a few options here. They've got a market data center, which we can kind of ignore, but stock screener, market, and pre-market screener are probably the ones that are going to jump out. Now, in general, the market screener is quite limited. If we just open this up, you can see that basically we can just look through a few indexes and only filter by a certain number of variables. So I don't really think this is the most useful thing. Certainly as a technical trader, it's not the area that I would focus on. It might be useful for some of you, certainly, but if we go back to have a look at their stock screener, it is obviously limited in terms of the market sectors that we can look at, but it does allow you a lot more options to vary basically the filters that you want. If we look through this, we can change a few items on price. We can change certain volume if you want to see that in terms of trading activity, fundamentals, technicals, etc., and even industry items. So filtering by certain exchanges. So, for example, on the technical side, we want to search for some stocks that are currently outperforming, let's say, the 200-day moving average. Really simple, and we'll do it on all the all the exchanges. Go through and screen, and there we go. So you can see now that we've got quite a long list. I think there's a few pages in here. So basically, this is going to give you the information, and then you can obviously filter by, price, etc., change percentage, kind of the basic stuff that we would want to see, really. And like I said, there's quite a few options that we can do in here. You can turn filters on and off. If you wanted to change a different item, maybe you only wanted to see the S&P in the 50-day, for example. Screen that, and it's going to give you a different result. There aren't that many filters that we can tweak when we have a look at some of the other options here, but certainly it's quite a useful tool if you're specifically looking through stocks and US stocks as well. So next up we have marketscreener.com. Now, this isn't a site I've personally used in the past whenever I've been doing any screening on the markets, but it's one that's been recommended by quite a few traders. It has a lot more variety, it has a lot more customization than what we saw on MarketWatch. There is a small downside. I mean, you can only do a limited amount of searches per day with a free account. And I think the monthly accounts start at something like $30 a month, which is quite high. I mean, there are a lot of other tools on this website, certainly. But if we're just looking through the screeners, I mean, just to give you a rundown. So you can select countries, you can select indexes. So it has quite a lot of information on some, basically not just in the US. So that's quite helpful, obviously. They've got a few variables that, again, I take with a pinch of salt. Things like investor and trading ratings, they're going to be decided by the website. But other elements in here that we can adjust, even some technical rankings, as we looked at on the Market Watch system. You can check quite a few trends. I mean, if I go through here and say, for example, drop this down, you can see the kind of the variety of options we have here. A lot of fundamentals, obviously, and scrolling down, even looking at things like, well, divergence, the short, the medium, the long-term trend, any volatility, any change. I mean, and some other kind of fairly obscure filters here. Things like human resources, human rights, use of resources, controversies. I mean, again, more for fundamental trading. Certainly, if we were looking at things, the short-term trading, again, there is a limit. I think I've done a couple of searches on this today already, so it locked you out after that much. I think you can come back every day to search. But overall, putting through a search on this, if you wanted to just use the free system on Market Screener, it can be quite powerful. There's quite a lot of variables. More, though, for, I suppose, fundamental analysis really than technical analysis, which is going to be a little different from the next site we look at. Next up, we've got Finviz. Now, this is probably my favourite market screener, certainly. It's the one I used first. It's the one that was first recommended to me. In terms of just the variety and the information you get off Finviz, I don't think there is a better free market screener out there, certainly. But the kind of layout, just the user interface, isn't to everyone's liking. I've been through with plenty of traders before where they just kind of don't like the way that Finviz works, which is totally understandable. But in terms of data, I genuinely think it's the best one. Again, some of you may be familiar with Finviz, maybe a website you've used. There's a lot on here, kind of alongside the screen. You've got market maps, which, okay, fairly rough showing at the moment. You can set a portfolio. You can look through a number of market sectors. There's news here as well. Overall, it's a great website to have. It's one of the ones I've had bookmarked for the longest. Just to look through what's happening on the market, it's a great site to be on. But the screener is kind of obviously the focus for today, and it's a really powerful tool. We can look through a lot of different variables here. You can see along the bottom, there's an awful lot to look through. In terms of market selections, again, we've only got a few exchanges, okay? It's focused on the US markets, which, yeah, is understandable. But in terms of, the settings, we can go through a lot of basically what they call descriptive settings first. You can look through kind of analyst recommendations, the certain industry the market's in, if you want it to really filter down. Again, like average trading volume, etc. A lot of this, again, kind of leaning into the fundamental side and particularly on that tab as well. Some of you will recognize some of these terms. Certainly, it's not filters that I use. Again, focusing really on the technical side or I'll do some of my market filtering. And yeah, you can see here, single day simple moving average, just looking through and pricing any ones that are significantly below or above that, how often they've crossed it, when they've crossed it for a number of different moving averages. I mean, in terms of all of the filters, you can see here that you've got a lot to go through. We can click on this. There's a lot we can look through, and if you filter down here by technicals, again, we can just click simply on here and see, which ones are way below their 200-day moving average. It's really easy to use. There's an awful lot of information on here. 426 pages of stocks. So depending on what you want, I mean, I don't think the export feature works. Yeah, it doesn't work anymore for free accounts. I'm not sure how much the Finviz site is at the moment. Let's have a look. So $24.96 a month. So it was around the same as what we saw on Market Screener. But I'll be honest, I think Finviz is a really powerful tool, and you're not just getting the screener out of it. There's certainly a lot there you can have a look at. So for my recommendation for a free screener, it's the best one to go for. Now, the final piece of software and the final site I want to have a look at is TradingView. Now, some of you, if you've seen the previous TradingView videos that I've put together, will be sort of familiar with how the screener works here. But to go through, if you go on to products here on TradingView, they've got 3 screeners. They've got a stock, a forex, and a crypto screener. They work in similar ways. We'll have a look through the stock screener to start with. Now, again, there are certain limitations on this with a free TradingView account compared to a pro account. Like all the screeners I had a look at today. But even the free level, it's really powerful. It's really useful. And again, like Finviz, we've got a lot of variables that we can tweak here. So as you can see, just looking through, basic items, I've got some filters already saved on here from what I've previously been doing. If I just undo, let me just check that everything's unfiltered. Yeah. Okay, so take off all of these, reset all. So you can see here, if we go through, again, they've got the same breakdown to descriptive, basically fundamental and technical that we saw on Finviz. You can see down here that we can filter by index, filter by country, sector and industry if we needed to. Certainly, looking for large cap or small cap markets as well. Running through down here, again, we're looking at average trading volume, a number of basic descriptive elements there, but certainly, on the fundamental side as well. Some of these terms, again, that we saw on Finviz, looking through, where are we? Even things like number of shareholders, if you really want to go down into quite a lot of detail there. Number of employees, for example, running down, seeing the dividends, that kind of info, again, for fundamental traders will probably be really useful, but certainly our focus more is on the technical side. So again, we can look down here, there's quite a lot of variables, going down to a number of different time frames as well, which works really well. If you're looking at, say, intraday trading, some of the other screeners really only focus on sort of longer term statistics. So even if we come down here, you can see scrolling down, exponential moving averages and simple moving averages. Again, quite a few periods here that we get. You can go down and see all the major indicator details that we need to see. MACD, for example, if you wanted Bollinger Band values. And if we go up, say, let's just pick a real simple moving average of 5 period. You can either say markets that are below it or equal. All these elements here. Identifying when they cross, for example. That's not on the simple moving average 5 period, but using one of the moving averages is part of one of our strategies. If you're a member of WB Trading, so you'll know that having something like this is really useful to be able to filter through a large set of markets. And if we just click on that, for example, let's say crosses, and we want to pick let's say when the simple moving average crosses the 100, for example, we go back off here, and now you can see that it's managed to filter that, and we've got 183 matches. Obviously, some of these are really small cap, so you may want to ignore, but some of them might be useful. It's just an easier way of filtering through and looking for particular markets that you want to see. And like I said, there's an awful lot of variety here. We can click on here, we can click certain amounts, even the entire world we can search through. If we wanted to, it's going to run through. Yeah, I'll save that as top gains just for now. While it's filtering through, now have 1,700 matches. So, okay, there are going to be markets here on indexes that you're not really going to look for. You're going to be focused on the major exchanges, but it's helpful to know if you're looking at a more diverse range of markets than just, say, the major US exchanges. And it works really well as a free tool. So guys, those are my choices for the best free market screeners out there. I know there are others, and yeah, certainly there are some premium tools that are really, really useful if you're doing a lot of market screening. But in general, if you just want to look through, if you've got some simple setups like we do, on our mechanical strategies, they're easy to check. We just need a screener sometimes to run through a large number of markets. The sites here are perfect for that. As always, guys, thank you very much for watching. Hopefully that's been helpful. If it's something you've not come across before, have a look at potential market screeners. They may help you out with whatever trading you're doing. And, if you've been using a market screener for a while, some of these may be alternatives that you want to check out. As always, leave any suggestions, any videos you want to see, any content you want us to cover, leave those in the comments. If you'd like to book a call, find out more about what we do at WB Trading, how we can help you, the link is in the description as well. And look forward to speaking to you soon and seeing you on the next video. Thanks, guys. Take care. Bye.